Have you ever felt uneasy wanting someone to remember you, but not knowing how to truly capture their attention? In today's world, people often tie their happiness to glances, messages, or the care they receive from others. We get swept up in fleeting emotions and easily lose our peace when responses don't meet our expectations. But this can completely change if you understand and apply Stoic philosophy, an ancient wisdom that has endured for thousands of years, teaching people how to find peace and value from within, regardless of external influences. Stoicism is not just a theory, it is a way of life. It teaches us to master our emotions, focus on what we can control, and let go of what lies beyond our reach. When you apply this philosophy to relationships, something remarkable happens. Instead of trying to make someone remember you through tricks or strategies, you become naturally and enduringly attractive, causing them to remember you effortlessly. In this video, we'll dive into Stoic principles that help you become magnetic and make others remember you naturally. You'll learn how to cultivate self-mastery, nurture silent charisma, and develop yourself without chasing attention or seeking approval from others. These are not tricks or gimmicks, but a journey to become the best version of yourself. A version that others will notice and value, even without you having to say or do much. Let's begin this journey and explore how to apply Stoic principles, not only to master yourself, but also to cultivate natural charisma, making others remember you in a deep and lasting way. After all, true attraction does not come from force or tricks, but from your inner strength, self-mastery, and integrity. The first principle is learning to accept what lies beyond your control. In relationships, many people tie their happiness to whether others remember them. They are swayed by glances, messages, or feedback from others. And whenever attention falls short of expectations, feelings of disappointment, anxiety, or anger quickly arise. The Stoics remind us that these things are entirely beyond our control, and trying to control them only leads to wasted energy and stress. Accepting what is beyond your control does not mean becoming indifferent or cold. On the contrary, it is inner freedom. You do not allow your emotions to be dictated by the actions or thoughts of others. When you learn to separate your happiness from external attention, you become steady and composed. This composure itself is a form of silent charisma, drawing others in without any need to prove yourself or apply pressure. This principle also helps you focus on what is truly within your control: your thoughts, your actions, and how you respond to the world around you. When you master yourself, you are no longer driven by emotions, but become a self-directed person with intrinsic value. This is the most important foundation for cultivating silent charisma. Others remember you not because you try to make them, but because you live with confidence, calmness, and authenticity. Accepting what cannot be controlled also helps you reduce stress, live more lightly, and focus on personal growth. When your mind is not entangled in things beyond your control, you can devote energy to enhancing your own value, naturally becoming more interesting and memorable. This is the first, and perhaps most important, step on the journey of applying Stoicism to make others remember you in a natural, deep, and lasting way. The second principle is learning to master your own emotions. In relationships, many people easily fall into emotional dependence, tying their happiness to whether someone remembers or cares about them. When others' behavior or attitude doesn't meet expectations, feelings of disappointment, anxiety, or frustration quickly arise. The Stoics taught that allowing your emotions to be controlled by others is essentially handing over your power to them, and that is something to be avoided. Emotional self-mastery does not mean becoming detached or indifferent. In essence, it is the ability to recognize your emotions, understand their origins, and choose not to let them dictate your actions. When you live with self-control, you don't overreact to others' indifference or attention, nor do you chase after the need to prove yourself. This calmness is precisely what makes you attractive, trustworthy, and memorable. Those who master their emotions radiate an inner confidence that makes others feel secure and drawn to them. They don't need to force impressions or push themselves to gain attention, because their magnetism comes from genuine inner strength. Happiness and confidence no longer depend on others, but arise from the way you regulate your emotions and maintain inner balance. Emotional self-mastery also allows you to focus on personal growth, strengthen relationships, and cultivate lasting charisma. Others will remember you not because you manipulate emotions or seek attention, but because you embody the most steady, calm, and confident version of yourself. This is the second foundation of applying Stoicism, helping you become magnetic and memorable in a natural, deep, and enduring way. The third principle is cultivating the ability to remain calm and patient in every situation. Life and relationships rarely unfold exactly as we wish, and sometimes a lack of attention or unclear signals from others can leave you irritated or impatient. The Stoics remind us that outbursts of emotion or hasty reactions only diminish your self-mastery and weaken your natural charisma. Calmness does not mean being indifferent or unfeeling. It is the ability to observe and regulate your own responses, no matter what the external circumstances may be. When you remain composed, you don't let the actions or emotions of others control you, and this makes people see you as steady and trustworthy. That composure creates a silent magnetism, drawing them closer and making them want to care about you even more. Patience is also a vital part of this magnetism. When you are not rushing for responses or attention, you show that you respect the natural flow of events and honor each person's own pace. The Stoics believe that patience reflects maturity and inner depth, and it is precisely this quality that makes others remember you naturally, without any force or pressure. By combining calmness and patience, you not only protect your inner balance, but also create a lasting magnetic presence. Others will remember you not because you chase after them, but because you embody the calmest, most self-controlled, and profound version of yourself. This is the third foundation of applying Stoicism to build silent charisma and lasting remembrance. The fourth principle is investing time and energy into self-development. True magnetism does not come from trying to draw attention or manipulate others' emotions, but from becoming the best version of yourself. Learning new skills, pursuing hobbies, exploring the world, and understanding yourself make you more interesting, confident, and independent. When you live fully and freely, your charisma flows naturally, making others remember you without you ever needing to force an impression. Self-development is also a way to strengthen self-mastery and inner peace. When you focus on increasing your own value, you are no longer swayed by others' behavior, words, or indifference. The Stoics emphasize that inner growth and deep knowledge are the strongest sources of magnetism, for they radiate a confident and steady energy that naturally makes people want to be near you and care about you. This is not just about accumulating skills or knowledge, but a journey of recognizing your values, life principles, and personal ideals. When you truly understand who you are and live according to what you believe in, you create a natural magnetism that makes others willingly remember and appreciate your presence. This is an essential foundation for applying Stoicism in relationships, helping you become attractive and memorable without the need for strategies or tricks. Self-development is not only about gaining knowledge or skills, but also about the journey of recognizing your own values and ideals. When you understand who you truly are, know what matters, and live according to those values, you radiate a steady, confident energy. This energy needs no words or tricks, yet it draws others in and makes them remember you for a long time because they see in you a person of depth and inner stability. The fifth principle is to cultivate presence and composure in every situation. The way you show up and carry yourself holds a power that goes far beyond words. A steady posture, confident eye contact, and calm demeanor all create a quiet magnetism that draws others in, without you having to force an impression. Presence is not just about physical appearance, but about being fully engaged in the present moment. When you are truly present, without letting your mind wander, you project an energy of confidence and steadiness. This focus and calmness allow others to sense your inner strength, leaving a deep and lasting impression in their memory. This principle also helps you establish boundaries in relationships. When you radiate a sense of self-control and steadiness, others cannot manipulate or shake you with their attitudes or words. It is this stability and confidence that create a quiet attraction, one that people naturally want to be close to and remember. Charisma does not come only from outward appearance, but also from attitude and complete presence. When you show up with confidence, calmness, and full focus on the moment, Others can feel your steady energy and inner strength. This is the kind of quiet attraction that makes them remember you without the need for many words or actions, because your very presence leaves a lasting impression. Charisma and the way you present yourself play a decisive role in shaping lasting impressions. When you remain steady, confident, and fully aligned with yourself, you don't need explanations or display. Your presence naturally radiates attraction. This is one of the core principles of Stoicism, helping you become both compelling and memorable in your relationships. The sixth principle is to cultivate the ability to truly listen. In a world full of noise and haste, the power of listening becomes a quiet strength. When you listen attentively, not only with your ears but also with your eyes and your presence, you send a powerful message that others are valued and important. Listening is not only about understanding others more deeply, but also about cultivating patience and calmness. Instead of simply waiting for your turn to speak or reacting emotionally, you focus on observing, receiving, and truly comprehending. This quiet stillness creates a subtle magnetism, making others feel safe and encouraging them to open up and share more with you. This principle also reflects maturity and inner self-control. When you are not driven by the need to prove yourself or dominate the conversation, you radiate an energy of confidence and balance. This is a key factor that makes others remember you, as they recognize you as someone steady, trustworthy, and worth being close to. Listening is also a way to build deep and lasting relationships. When you genuinely give your full attention to others, they feel cared for and respected, which makes them remember and appreciate you more. This principle also helps you develop understanding and sensitivity in reading others' emotions, creating a quiet magnetism rooted in empathy and depth in the way you interact. The ability to listen deeply is the key to creating lasting attraction. When you give your full attention, honor each moment, and put others first, a quiet magnetism is formed without the need for fancy words or tactics. This is how people naturally remember and appreciate your presence. Keeping promises is the clearest expression of integrity and personal credibility. When you follow through on what you commit to, you not only build trust with others, but also strengthen your own self-respect. The Stoics emphasize that consistency between words and actions creates a quiet magnetism, one that naturally earns respect and makes others remember you. This principle also helps you develop self-discipline. Every promise is an opportunity to practice steadfastness and loyalty to your own values and principles. When you keep your word consistently, you prove that you are not swayed by external circumstances or fleeting desires. The quiet magnetism of keeping promises does not come from fancy words or showmanship, but from actions that match your words. Others may not remember everything you once said, but they will always remember how you honored your commitments and the reliability you brought into their lives. Keeping promises is also a way to affirm your value and credibility in the eyes of others. When your words and actions are always consistent, you become a symbol of reliability and honesty. The quiet magnetism comes from the sense of reassurance and respect you inspire, making others remember you for the long term. This is clear proof that inner values and integrity matter far more than any fancy words or outward display. Honesty and consistency in action create credibility and lasting attraction. When you keep your promises dependably, others recognize your responsibility and steadiness, remembering you naturally without any need for display or force. The principle of keeping promises is the foundation that allows you to become the most trustworthy and memorable version of yourself. In a noisy world where everyone is busy sharing, showing, and proving themselves, valuing silence becomes a quiet strength. This principle reminds you that sometimes silence and mindful presence hold more power than any words. When you learn to appreciate still moments and connect deeply with yourself, you create a steady and magnetic energy. Silence allows you to observe and understand without being swayed by fleeting emotions. The Stoics believe that in silence you can hear the voice of reason, respond with clarity, and maintain composure in any circumstance. When you master the quiet within, others naturally sense your self-control and calmness, and this is what makes them remember you. This principle also helps you create lasting attraction through the peaceful and confident energy you radiate. When you don't feel the need to prove yourself or seek attention with words, every action and presence of yours carries weight. Others feel safe and inspired around you, which leads them to respect and remember you for a long time. It can be said that valuing silence not only strengthens your inner power, but also helps you build healthy relationships. By balancing silence with intentional action, you become someone with depth, reliability, and memorability in the eyes of others. This is one of the key principles of applying Stoicism to create a quiet and lasting magnetism. The ninth principle is letting go of control. In relationships and in life, the desire to control others or the outcomes they create is a major source of stress and a drain on your natural magnetism. This principle reminds us that most of other people's actions, emotions, and decisions are beyond our reach. When you accept this truth, you free yourself from the burden of manipulation and unrealistic expectations. Letting go of control does not mean indifference or apathy. It means focusing on what you can change, your own thoughts, actions, and responses. When you stop trying to control others, you radiate an energy of confidence, calmness, and attractiveness, making people remember you naturally. This principle also helps you build inner independence. When you are no longer tied to the attitudes or behaviors of others, you gain control over your own emotions. This becomes the foundation for living according to Stoicism, free, peaceful, and steady, creating a quiet and lasting magnetism. By letting go of control, you also learn to appreciate each moment and the relationships around you. You no longer chase outcomes or the attention of others, but instead focus on living fully and becoming the best version of yourself. The attraction and lasting impression you create come from this very self-mastery and depth. Learning to let go of control helps you balance caring for others with maintaining independence. When you respect their freedom and keep a healthy distance, you not only preserve your quiet magnetism, but also build healthy relationships, making others remember you for the long term without any need for force or manipulation. The 10th principle is cultivating patience. Life never unfolds perfectly according to our wishes, and the results we hope for often arrive later than expected. The principle of patience reminds you that rushing or being restless only creates pressure and diminishes your natural magnetism. The Stoics taught that knowing how to wait for the right moment and maintaining calmness is a true sign of wisdom and maturity. Patience helps you control your emotions and reactions, preventing rash actions or poor decisions. When you remain calm throughout the course of events, you radiate a steady and composed energy, one that makes others feel safe and naturally remember you. Instead of focusing only on the end result, you learn to appreciate the process, strengthen yourself, and enjoy each step of your own journey. This maturity creates a quiet magnetism that draws others in and sparks their curiosity in a natural way. Cultivating patience also helps you develop self-control and inner independence. When you are not swept away by external pressure or the desire for immediate results, you preserve inner peace and become confident and steady. This is an essential foundation for applying Stoicism in relationships, allowing you to be both memorable and quietly attractive in the long run. Patience helps you build lasting magnetism through calmness and maturity. Others will remember you not because you manipulated or forced them, but because you embodied the most steady, patient, and self-controlled version of yourself. This is the kind of quiet attraction that Stoicism encourages. The 11th principle emphasizes being content with what you already have. The Stoics believe that when you recognize the value of the present and stop chasing endless desires, you create inner stability. This balance makes others see you as confident and steady, which naturally makes you more memorable. Contentment helps you avoid feelings of lack in comparison with others. When you are not driven by excessive ambition or social pressure, you can focus on yourself, develop inner value, and appreciate each present moment. The magnetism of contentment comes from confidence and self-mastery without the need for display. This principle also helps you cultivate emotional independence. When your happiness is not tied to others' attention or judgment, you preserve inner peace. Others will sense that serenity and confidence, which draws them in and makes you memorable. Contentment also fosters the ability to build lasting connections with others. Instead of being driven by control or envy, You live fully in alignment with your own values. This makes every relationship healthier and more memorable, while enhancing the quiet magnetism that Stoicism teaches. This allows you to become the deepest, steadiest, and most confident version of yourself. Others will remember you not because you pressured them or created forced situations, but because your balance, contentment, and self-mastery radiate a lasting attraction. The final principle is to live and act according to your inner values rather than being swayed by fleeting emotions or the opinions of others. The Stoics emphasize that when you follow your own principles and ideals, you become trustworthy and create lasting magnetism. The consistency between your values and actions shapes a profound image that others naturally remember. Acting according to your values also helps you maintain self-mastery in every situation. When your decisions are grounded in solid principles, you are not shaken by outside pressure or expectations. This becomes the foundation for radiating quiet magnetism, a kind of attraction that requires no tricks or display, yet makes others willingly care for and remember you. This principle also elevates your personal value in the eyes of others. The Stoics believe that when you live by your values and ideals, you become a steady anchor in relationships. This ability inspires respect, admiration, and long-lasting remembrance because others see that you are not swayed by fleeting emotions or temporary gains. Acting according to your values helps you focus on developing inner strength and maturity. Instead of trying to impress or manipulate others, you build attraction through authenticity, steadiness, and purpose in every action. People will remember you for the way you live and the principles you uphold, not for tricks or forced gestures. After going through the 12 Stoic principles, it becomes clear that true attraction and the ability to be remembered do not come from tricks, showiness, or attempts to manipulate others' emotions. They arise from inner strength, self-mastery, and steadfast principles. When you live by Stoicism, you find happiness within yourself, independent of others' actions or feelings. And it is this very independence that creates a natural and lasting magnetism. These principles, ranging from accepting what you cannot control, mastering your emotions, staying calm, practicing patience, developing yourself, cultivating presence and composure, listening deeply, keeping promises, valuing silence, letting go of control, embracing contentment, to acting according to your values, all aim to help you become the best version of yourself. When you focus on self-growth and living fully by your principles, you don't need to force anyone to remember you. They will remember you in the most natural way. Quiet magnetism comes from stability, calmness, and authenticity. Others are drawn to you not because you try to impress them, but because you radiate an energy of confidence, peace, and trustworthiness. This is the kind of lasting attraction that makes them remember you and want to be close, without the need for strategies or tricks. Finally, applying Stoicism in relationships does not mean being indifferent or unfeeling. On the contrary, it encourages you to build healthy connections grounded in respect, understanding, and inner values. When you live true to Stoic principles, you not only master your own life and emotions, but you also become someone others naturally remember and appreciate. And that is the enduring quiet magnetism this ancient philosophy teaches us. And if you want to learn how to apply Stoic philosophy to make others value and remember you in the most natural way, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the upcoming videos on this channel. This will be a journey that helps you strengthen your inner worth, maintain self-mastery, and become truly magnetic, even in silence.